Podcast Network Asia.
Anyong mga K-drama pamangkins, I'm back from a very quick break kasi nagkaroon po tayo ng very light na K-drama slump, which is very common naman po talaga kapag tinuloy-tuloy nyo ang panonood ng K-drama. Gaya nga ng sabi nila, lahat ng sobra ay masama. And sometimes talaga darating ka sa point na ayaw mo na makakita ng kahit anong K-drama. Nahihirapan ka na mag-commit to watch or start a series na typically around 16 episodes pa. So, ayun na nga po ang nangyari sa atin. Pero heto nga at nagbabalik muli ang inyong tita dahil last Friday, November 18, na-premiere na ang isa na namang Netflix original series na inaantabayanan ko dahil sa promising premise at trailer nito. Pero bago natin pag-usapan ang aking opinion about that K-drama, pag-usapan muna natin itong sudden rise of Netflix original series. Now, first of all, what are these Netflix original series or K-dramas? So these are K-dramas mga pamangkin that were made for Netflix. Meaning, hindi ito pinalabas or ipapalabas sa any TV network in Korea. Kumbaga ay made by Netflix for Netflix. Unlike before, Netflix only pays for the rights to have K-dramas available for streaming. So, kumbaga, the creation and the production of the K-drama is mainly still dependent on the TV network in South Korea. So, andyan yung JTBC, TVN, ENA, KBS, SBS, ganon. So, with Netflix original series, the conception up to the production and of course the budget will all come from Netflix. And since itong mga Netflix originals ay hindi ipapalabas sa any local TV channels in South Korea, this series are not subject to the very strict guidelines of what can be shown and what are no in Korean TVs. So obviously, with Netflix original series, writers and directors have more freedom kasi hindi na nila kailangan isipin ang mga conservative titos and titas of Korea. And so the rise of K-dramas that are more innovative, creative, and provocative. And one of the K-dramas created by Netflix for Netflix is the hit series of last year, which is your Squid Game. It was such a huge hit and I'm sure isa ka sa mga nakapanood nitong series na to. But let's admit, okay? Let's all admit that it was so gory. Sobrang madugo ng series na to. First episode pa lang niya. Ang gory na. And having those bloodshed and the toilet scene, alam niyo kung anong sinasabi ko. Anyway, we must admit that if Squid Game was shown on any local channels, the toilet scene will be the first one to go. Actually, it is possible that Squid Game may not even be aired considering the very violent premise of it. If mapush man nila itong ipalabas, baka super mega cut sa mga bloody scenes or baka tuluyan na talagang magbago yung kwento. So hindi siya yung Squid Game na napanood natin. Ganon. Now, I want to get your opinion on this, okay? My fellow K-drama pamangkins, titos and titas, I want to get your opinion. Considering that most of us grew up with K-dramas before the streaming eras, meaning before all this Netflix and View and Viki, I want to know your opinion if we love or if you love and want more Netflix originals or medyo Netflix needs to step back. Ako, to be honest, medyo hati ang aking opinion. And let me explain it further by citing two Netflix original series na recently pinanood ko. Not so long ago, I watched the Netflix original series that ang title niya is Suriname, or more known siya as Narco Saints. And even with just the title na Narco Saints, you already can tell or you already know that this K-drama revolves or involves drugs, narcotics, drugs, diba? And it is actually true. It tells the story about this Korean businessman who flew to Suriname, which is a country in South America. It's actually a real one, and it is found in South America to supposedly start a fishing export business, but somehow got entangled with another Korean, a Korean drug lord, actually, drug priest, operating in Suriname, and Korea's National Intelligence Service, or NIS. So somehow, this small businessman from Korea ended up as a spy for NIS. Now, Narco Saints stars Ha Jung-woo, who is a big star in Korean movies, and this series is only a total of 6 episodes, which is another pro of Netflix, another good thing about Netflix original series, because they are way shorter than your usual K-drama. So they are running around less than 10 episodes. I even have an episode in the podcast wherein I list down my favorite Netflix series na konting episode lang, less than 10 ganon. So, this Narco Saints is also only short. It's 6 episodes, and all episodes were available when it was released back in September. So, hindi mo na kailangan maghintay for the next episode next week. All 6 of it are already available. The moment it first premiered or aired, it was all available, all 6 of it. Now, if you want to know more about the premise or yung buong kwento niya, which is, as according sa mga chika, is based daw on true events. I don't know how true it is, but yun sabi nila. But if you want to know more about the premise of it, please go ahead and check nyo na lang sa Google. Now, the series involves drugs, a brief orgy scene, sex scene, a former idol in a lingerie, and of course, your bloody scenes, one of which is the crazy death scene of my number 2 oppa, Yoyon Sok. And not to mention, hindi pa kasama dyan yung talks about corruption and this cult-like religion that uses drugs to control their members. So, di ba? ang layo sa mga typical K-drama plots natin. And if you have seen Narco Saints, I know that you would also agree with me on this, okay? That this series will not fly had this been shown on any local channels. With the amount of scenes that will be edited para lang pwede siya ipalabas sa TV, by then for sure, wala na matitira sa story. And that's if makapasa yung story sa screening to start with. Okay? But if you again have seen Narco Saints, you would also agree with me that this is such a breath of fresh air. Kakaiba itong K-drama na ito. It's totally different from the usual thriller crime series. And my God, the production quality, iba talaga ang may budget. Yun na lang ang masasabi ko. Narco Saints production, from cinematography to location to props to yung mismo mga bahay na ginamit nila for the scenes. Ay my God, grabe. They can easily be compared to production quality that you can actually expect from movies. Diba? Mas malaki, kung hindi mo alam, mas malaki ang budget na binibigay sa mga movies kaysa sa mga TV series. Kaya naman, ang quality ng mga movies malayo kumpara sa mga TV series. And that's not just for K-dramas. Even on our teleseries, ganun din. Bihira ka makapanood ng mga teleserye na yung quality pang pelikula. An exception to that is the recent episode that I created with Bram, which is yung nga ang Maria Clara at Ibarra. So take advantage of those series. Really watch those teleseries, K-dramas na yung production quality ay ibang level. Yung talagang pang pelikula at hindi siya yung typical na pang drama lang. But going back to what I was saying, so yun na nga, yung movie na to or yung series na to, yung quality niya can be compared to what you would expect sa movies. Nung pinanood ko nga siya nung first episode niya, akala ko talaga nagkamali ako na movie pala siya at hindi siya series. Pero it's actually a series. Now, let's talk about the story. Again, the amount of violence in this movie is something that you would also expect from a movie, not on a series. Kasi sa mga series or K-dramas, napaka-strict nila. Okay? And yun nga, yung amount ng violence dito sa Narco Saints, hindi ito papasa. Hindi talaga siya pwede for TV airing. The amount of violence, you can expect this sa mga movies but not sa series, okay? So kung hindi ka sanay sa mandudugong barilan and saksakan, wag mo nang subukang panoorin itong Narco Saints, okay? Ako na mismong nasasabi sa iyo, no, no. But overall, the story of Narco Saints is engaging kasi aabangan mo talaga kung mabibisto na ba siya, na spy yung bida, and every episode kabado ka na paano kung mahuli na siya, anong gagawin sa kanya, paano na, ganun. But Narco Saints is actually still tamed. Kumbaga, mas ano pa siya, mahinhin kumpara sa mga Western series. However, like I said, had this been made for TV viewing, baka hanggang suggestion lang itong K-drama. And that for me is why I love the rise of this Netflix original series, because we finally get movie quality K-dramas and stories na mas may lalim at kakaiba. Pero sometimes, too much freedom for the first time can make you lose your vision, which would often result to a story na walang saysay. Case in point is the newest Netflix original series, Somebody. Ngayon pa lang gusto ko na mag-sorry sa mga fans nitong series na ito. Etong sasabihin ko ay pawang opinion ko lamang at again, kanya-kanya tayo ng trip sa buhay. Kung nag-enjoy ka sa panonood mo nitong Somebody, then good for you, okay? But hear me out as well. So heto na nga, like I said earlier, with this Netflix original series, writers and directors have more freedom to express and tell us stories that would normally be scrapped by TV networks for fear of viewers filing complaints. And we know how powerful viewers can be. An example of this are those series na kalagitnaan needed to be stopped kasi daming complaints. Ang daming complaints about it. And eventually, di na natuloy, di ba? Last year ata, meron isang series na kailang episodes lang. A lot of people have been complaining kasi parang may historical revision na nangyari. And because of that, hindi na naituloy ang series kahit na malaking budget ang binigay para sa kanya. Unfortunately, yun. And that is one of the reason kaya hindi talaga napaka-strict pagdating sa movies. Kasi, syempre, ayaw mo din mag-waste ng money only to end a series abruptly, di ba? So, yun na nga. So, Somebody is another Netflix original series na last November 18 lang ni-release. It's a total of 8 episodes which are again all available now, so no need to wait for the release of the next episode every week. Okay? Now, the series stars Kim Yong-kwang, and co-starred by some rookie actresses. Now, to be honest, noong napanood ko yung trailer nito at nabasa ko yung premise, super na-intriga ako and inabangan ko talaga siya. Somebody is a story about this dating app developer who, in the process of finding this serial killer who is using the dating app she created to find the next victim, fell in love with the killer. O, di ba? Let me give you enough seconds there para i-absorb yung sinabi ko. Yung developer, may ginawa siyang dating app. Yung killer, ginagamit yung dating app para maghanap ng victim. At sa paghahanap nitong developer sa serial killer, na-inlove siya dun sa killer. O, di ba? Kakaiba. Para siyang mix ng Silence of the Lamb, na may pagka-sleeping with the enemy, na may pagka-Bonnie and Clyde. Parang ganon. Kakaiba. Kaya nga ako na-intriga. And so I set my alarm and I really watched it on the day it was released. And shocked is an understatement sa naramdaman ko sa K-drama na ito. Minsan, na-realize ko na lang na natutulala ako sa mga kaganapan. And that's because somebody is... Teka, tulog na ba ang mga bata? Patulugin niyo na muna, okay? And that's because somebody is full of sexual scenes. Like full-on sex scenes. Almost porn level sex scenes and female masturbating scenes. Not scene, scenes. So, ganon. So, sa dulo talaga parang gusto ko na lang maligo. And it's not because I'm being prude, okay? Because mind you, I grew up with Mexican or Spanish telenovelas and those people are always getting it on. And I also grew up in the 90s. And I grew up with Seiko movies. Okay? Kung hindi mo alam, Seiko movies are equivalent ng Viva Max ngayon. Okay? Siya yung equivalent ng Viva Max in our time. So, I guess the shock really comes from the extreme shift. Kumbaga, sobrang extreme naman ng pagkaka-shift nitong pagdating dito sa Somebody. I have been watching K-dramas for almost 2 decades now. And K-dramas that I grew up with, and you also know this, okay? Kahit kiss, minsan pinagkakaitpat sa atin ni Direk. So imagine my shock when I watch Somebody na di lang kiss, kundi full-on chok-chakan ang ganap. And not just once, okay? But multiple times in the 8 episodes. And like what I said, I am not being prude here. Some of those sex scenes are actually needed, okay? They are necessary for the story. But for me, the excessiveness of it, and yung minsan napapatanong na lang talaga ako sa sarili ko, anong ambag nitong pagtutsuktsakan na ito sa kwento? Yun yung issue ko. Minsan, wala lang sense. Bakit nagtutsuktsakan? Anong kwento? Yun talaga, ano yung ambag niya sa kwento? Anyway, like what I said, I'm not being prude. Hindi ko lang talaga gets yung excessiveness. I felt that the creators of Somebody are prime examples ng mga sexually repressed Asians na kapag finally nakalaya na sila sa mga conservative and strict parents nila, talagang bumibuelo. Yung dati hindi makabasag pinggan, biglang nakatupis. Parang ganon. I felt that they finally got the freedom na they've been longing for, and all those years na hindi sila makagawa ng kwento with a woman masturbating, yun yung binuhos nila dito sa Somebody. But because they are finally enjoying the freedom to create a story na full of sex scenes, di na sila nakapag-focus. And nakalimutan na nila ang pinaka-importante sa lahat. The essence of K-dramas. The story. Sobrang lost ko sa kwento, as in hanggang sa dulo, pinagtatagpi ko pa din ang mga scenes. Para kasing mula sa iba't ibang direction yung kwento niya. Now, this is not the first time na may ganitong style ng pagkukwento kasi sa totoo lang, madalas na itong gamitin. Ito na yung mga galawan ng mga recent thriller K-dramas. Sa una, guguluhin ka talaga. Guguluhin ang pag-iisip mo. Hindi mo alam kung anong nangyayari. Pero kasi at least sa dulo, iba't iba man ang pinagmula ng kwento, they are still able to weave it together para maging cohesive yung kwento. A good example is yung Little Women, okay? May flaws itong Little Women, pero siya yung isa sa mga example ng kwento na nagmula yung mga kwento sa iba't ibang direction. May kwento sa point of view ng panganay, may kwento sa point of view ng middle child, at yung bunso may kwento din. Pero sa dulo, nagtahi-tahi pa rin. Kumbaga, cohesive pa rin. Yun yung wala sa Somebody. Parang ang feeling ko, ang purpose lang niya is i-shock tayong lahat na di sanay sa mga K-dramas na may tsuktsakan. So, shock factor lang yung panlaban niya. But once you're past or over that, you will eventually realize na walang sense ang kwento and walang lalim yung mga characters. Parang pakitang gilas lang pero sa totoo wala naman talagang talent. Ganun. If there's anything that I like with this newfound freedom, okay? With this newfound freedom ng mga writers and directors with Netflix original series, is that they can finally add elements na di ma-add ng mga writers and directors sa mga K-dramas na produce for TV because most of them are afraid to add those factors because it will ruin the quote-unquote aesthetics ng mga K-dramas nila. Like finally, in Somebody, may bida na tayo na lesbian. Okay? Lesbian na meron ding kissing scene. And not hindi lang scene, scenes. Okay? And a person or persons actually, persons with disability, isa physically and isa mentally because yung isa meron siyang nasa autism spectrum siya. So imagine meron kang mga characters ng ganun na typically in a K-drama hindi mo siya makikita. Recently, actually ito lang mga 2022, nagkaroon tayo ng Attorney Woo. Pero before that, hindi masyado kinakagat yung mga K-dramas and hindi lahat ng mga TV networks nagre-risk into a story that involves a character na hindi perfect. Okay? Ang usual issue ng mga characters na mga K-dramas natin is mahirap. Okay? But even that is also flawed kasi mahirap sila pero yung mga cellphones nila is the latest from Samsung. So, ganun. And it's only now, like I said, that you get to see characters that take center stage na yung mga characters that take the center stage and hindi lang guest or supporting character sila. I've seen people with disability in other series pero hindi sila yung bida. Sometimes kapatid, kaibigan, ganun lang. And ang malungkot lang is masyadong na-focus ang mga tao sa mga sex scenes kasi nga extreme naman yung shift nila from kahit kiss bawal to heto biglang full-on sex. At dahil nga dyan, medyo on the fence ako sa mga Netflix original series. Definitely, na-appreciate ko na through this Netflix original series, finally may iba na naman tayong mapapanood. And as someone who has been watching K-dramas for 20 years now, medyo nakakasawa na din yung paulit-ulit na plot. At dahil nga mas may kalayaan sa Netflix original series, makakaasa tayo na yung mga kwento is kakaiba this time. Okay? So meron naman bagong putaheng ihahain sa atin. Kumbaga sawa na tayo sa adobo, meron naman tayong bagong ulam this time. But is being new and exciting enough to forget the essence of the K-dramas, which is the story? I don't think so. Okay? For me, the story should still be the top priority. Kasi kahit gaano man ka-innovative, creative, and provocative ang kwento, kung walang saysay, then basura pa din. Basura na may glitters nga lang. Ganon. But that's again my opinion. I would love to of course hear you out, especially if napanood mo na ang either Narco Saints or itong Somebody. And if you love Somebody, I would love to know as well your point of view of the story. I would love to know kung ikaw ba ay nag-agree sa akin or if you have a completely different opinion. And like I said, I am very much open to any opinions, okay? I would love to also discuss this further. So please don't hesitate to tag me on any of my social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. It's all at Anyong Tita. Follow nyo na rin ako for the updates on the next episode. Until the next Tuesday, good night, kids. I love you, Bruno Mars. Kamsahamnida! Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And if you want to be updated, make sure to follow the podcast, hit the notification bell, and also follow me at Anyong Tita on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram so you won't miss out on anything. And catch our weekly deep dive K-drama conversations every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or other podcast streaming platforms here at your favorite K-drama show with your favorite K-drama tita. Anyong Tita!